A renowned chart analyst and veteran trader is sparking curiosity by questioning whether XRP could rise as the new leader in the crypto world. It's intriguing to see someone with decades of experience, long before crypto even existed.
Tired of fake gurus who claim to be expert traders but never trade live? I trade live on the second largest crypto exchange, where everything is transparent and results can't be faked. For over 440 days, I've consistently closed every month in profit. In the last 90 days alone, my followers have seen over 70% profit with only 4% drawdown. Verified results, not empty claims. Want to see my verified stats? Click the first link in my profile and start copying my trades for free today.
Now acknowledging there might be more to XRP than meets the eye. Let's dive into that because it's an exciting shift. The last time he shared thoughts on XRP, his stance was fairly neutral. It wasn't negative, but it's been a while. Now something's changed. He's tuned in, watching closely, and seems to be recognizing the growing potential of XRP. What could have caught his attention this time? So this guy introduced a key metric that caught a lot of attention in the XRP community last year. And guess what? It actually signaled when the breakout was happening. Let me break it down and show you exactly what he's talking about. But first, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial expert, not even close. Nothing I say should be taken as financial advice. Seriously, don't make any buying or selling decisions based on what you hear from me. I'm just a crypto enthusiast who loves diving into these topics and sharing my thoughts on YouTube. It's all just a hobby for me, something I do for fun. Alright, let's get into it. Remember the buzz from April 2024? Headlines like this one from the Crypto Basic were everywhere. Analyst reveals XRP breakout signal as monthly Bollinger Bands tighten to historical levels. Sound familiar? Now, let's talk about the man behind it all. John Bollinger, the mastermind who created Bollinger Bands. I won't dive into the full article, but let's make sure we're all on the same page here. Why does this matter? Because this was one of the biggest indicators we'd been watching. The anticipation was electric. We were waiting for this metric to expand, signaling that XRP was on the verge of something huge, and it delivered. I talked about this all year, and so did countless chart analysts. One standout was Charting Guy, who was even quoted in that article. Check out his post from April 16th, 2024, right in the thick of it. He shared this XRP/USD chart back when XRP was sitting at just 49 cents, a time when few were paying attention. Funny how things change, right? Here's what he pointed out. XRP's monthly Bollinger Bands are now the tightest they've ever been in history, with a width of just 0.7. The last time they got this tight was back in 2017, at 0.73. And guess what happened then? Well, 1 month later, he added a little rocket ship emoji and cheekily wrote, "Probably nothing." Now, let's dive into this. Take a look at 2017, the upper and lower bands, those blue lines, hugged close before they started expanding. And when they did, that's when XRP took off. History doesn't always repeat, but it definitely rhymes. This metric on its own doesn't guarantee that just because it's narrowing, the asset, whether it's a cryptocurrency or a stock, is bound to move upward. But here's the kicker. When it tightens, it signals an explosive move is coming. The tighter it gets, the bigger the breakout. That's the key you need to remember. All year I've been emphasizing that since we're in a bull market and XRP can only stay artificially suppressed for so long, it's destined to break upward when the time comes. Let's rewind to 2017 for proof. Back then, the metric hit its tightest point in history, and what followed? XRP launched like a rocket. The breadth expanded massively, and it was game on. Now, take a look at the last cycle. It narrowed too, though not as tight as 2017. But let's not forget the elephant in the room, the artificial interference from the US government, courtesy of the SEC, which added its own twist to the story. That might have played a part, but wow, things really tightened up. Finally, when it started to open up, the price began moving. But this cycle, it was something else entirely. Fast forward, we're at a point where XRP has legal clarity, blue skies ahead, everything's looking great. Then, something extraordinary happened. The narrowest Bollinger Bands in XRP's entire history. A big deal, no question. I remember diving deep into it back then, but the real proof came in November 2024. Here's a headline from Crypto Basic. Analysts confirm XRP Bollinger Bands expanding after 19 months of contraction. A massive rally incoming. Wild, right? Even though they were already the tightest ever in April of last year, they somehow got even tighter, like for another 6 months. It was incredible, just squeezing and squeezing until November rolled around. During that time, I kept saying, guys, I know it hasn't exploded yet, but this means something is coming. And it wasn't just any pattern. We were witnessing the biggest consolidation in crypto history, spanning over 7 years for XRP. What could it possibly signal? Well, the great Matsby knew. Here's his post from November 12th, 2024. XRP had a brief pop to 73 cents, but the real action was in the charts. The blue line started to break, one pushing upward, the other downward, just like it had in previous cycles. Sure, the price ticked up, but it wasn't obvious at a glance. XRP had been in this range before during consolidation phases, but this time something felt different. Analyzing the charts, he noticed where XRP's price sat and how the Bollinger Bands were behaving. Then, on November 12th, he dropped a bold statement. This is not a test. XRP has monthly Bollinger Band expansion for the first time in years. This looks like the real deal, everyone. And oh, it was the real deal. After years of waiting and enduring endless nonsense from toxic Bitcoin maximalists, it finally happened. XRP exploded. On December 2nd, it hit a local peak of $2.90 after nearly a month of solid gains. It pulled back briefly to consolidate, then surged again to a new all-time high of $3.39 on January 16th. Exchange rates may vary slightly. Since then, the price has settled back into consolidation, but the journey to those highs was unforgettable. I'm not convinced this rally is done just yet. We haven't hit that face-melting stage, but I truly believe it's on the horizon. Still, it's pretty fascinating, and honestly, pretty awesome, to see that metric we used back in the XRP community to signal a breakout finally lighting up. And now, the very person who created that metric seems to be coming around to XRP himself. Kind of poetic, isn't it? Which brings us to this headline. Legendary trader Bollinger on XRP. Will it become the new leader? Catchy, right? Oh, and quick side note, there are a couple of hilarious typos in the article. Look, I actually like you today. They seem genuine and they publish stories you won't find elsewhere, which is great. But let's just say they're not winning any awards for professional writing anytime soon. It's like they type something, hit publish without a second glance, and boom, it's out there for us to enjoy, typos and all. Gotta love it. I still like them, but I've gotta poke a little fun. Here's how it goes. Legendary trader John Bollinger recently hinted on social media that Ripple-linked XRP could emerge as a new market leader. This part cracked me up. He decided to spice it up with a metaphor straight out of Greek mythology. Yes, Greek, not green mythology. Who's out here following green mythology anyway? Bollinger noted that XRP has, quote, resisted the recent singing of the siren's best song, end quote. In a single sentence, 2 glaring errors. Seriously? It's not signing, it's singing. This is basic stuff, folks. A whole crew of C students is what we're dealing with here. This is the team. C's across the board. This marks the first time in years that Bollinger has shared his thoughts on XRP's price action. Back in 2018, he admitted he didn't know enough about the token to predict its future. Honestly, fair enough. If you're not informed on something, it's better to say so than to pretend otherwise. Props to him for not getting swept up in the toxic wave of Bitcoin maximalism. Too often, newcomers to crypto feel pressured to hate on everything that isn't Bitcoin just to fit in with the loudest voices in the space. Sadly, some people buy into that mindset. I've seen those folks yelling into the void, and honestly, it's embarrassing. They're just making fools of themselves. That kind of blind tribalism is why I've never fully aligned with the so-called Bitcoin community. Sure, I like Bitcoin, I've held it since 2017, and I see its value, but the culture? Not always my vibe. Too many people focus on tearing others down instead of building the space up. I'd rather not associate with those so-called humans. And yes, I'm using the term humans pretty loosely here. On a brighter note, last month, the renowned chartist, famous for creating the Bollinger Bands indicator that's now a staple in trading, firmly dismissed the idea that Bitcoin was in a bear market. So, brighter days ahead? Looks like it. Pretty exciting, right? To have someone like him, such an influential figure for our community, lend credibility to our outlook. His creation, after all, has been a key tool for building our confidence in the market's direction. Seeing his take? That's a big deal. Now, let me share the post itself. It's seriously cool. He shared this with his 234,800 followers on X, formerly Twitter. And here's the kicker. He mentioned Ripple, well, XRP, technically. To be fair, I don't think he knows the finer details, so I'll cut him some slack. Either way, this endorsement is massive. Of all the big crypto players, Ripple has been the most resilient, skillfully resisting the siren song that's led others astray. Could it take the crown? Well, that depends on how you define leader, but I firmly believe Ripple is set to outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum by a significant margin. I wouldn't bet against it. Meanwhile, Mikey Bull Crypto chimed in on a post by John Bollinger, proving yet again why he's one to watch. He correctly predicted XRP's breakout, sharing an XRP/USD chart with the caption, "Looking strong and ready." In another post, Mikey doubled down, forecasting XRP could hit $5 to $10 this cycle. While he's not calling this the ultimate peak, his confidence is sparking plenty of excitement in the crypto community. It might turn out to be a cautious estimate, but he's feeling confident we'll land in that range. And honestly, we might look back and think, wow, that was pretty conservative. Fingers crossed, that's the case. It's not unrealistic though. He's basically saying, hang tight, the best is yet to come. But hey, just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't go buying or selling anything based solely on what I say or write. Seriously, that would be a really bad idea.